Joining me now, Nelson Peacock. He's the CEO of the Northwest Arkansas Council. Always good to visit with him because he's always got something going on. So it's always fun to talk to you, Nelson. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Roby.
All right. You guys have had I think, a fruitful legislative session. As we are talking, it's not over yet, but it sure is close to being over. And so I think you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Let's talk about industrial development authorities. This was a bill that was on your radar all session. Tell me kind of what it does and how you see it benefiting Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah, this was a part of several bills that the AEDC put forward. I think some are in various stages still, but we were really interested in industrial development authority because it's a tool that a lot of states have, but it's also something that we think that we're going to be able to put to good use here in Northwest Arkansas because it's going to allow us to organize uh, to to create some strategic locations, to create new business, to be able to recruit new business in ways that we're not able to right now. As you know, the growth up here, certainly no lack of economic growth, but it's not really strategic in any way. We want to be able to protect strategic locations and be able to recruit companies from around the country that help us diversify our economy, round out what our offerings are, create a lot of middle wage jobs that are not in retail or logistics or food, so that we can have a well balanced economy.
Give me maybe just kind of an example of how you see these industrial development authorities. Like, will there be like the equivalent of a Little Rock port, but it won't be a port because you don't have a water?
Yeah, I mean that's the idea. It's basically a port authority without a navigable waterway. So any jurisdiction could create these. Uh, as the Northwest Arkansas Council, we'll probably be looking to do something more regional. We've talked to several elected officials about this, the opportunity. I think there's a lot of interest there, but it basically will give us the ability. There's no really tax issues related to industrial revenue authorities. It is basically you can issue bonds, revenue bonds based on projects. And so with that, we're going to identify sites, hopefully purchase land that's strategic in nature, get it set up with the right infrastructure so that we can be competitive to recruit.
All right. On the healthcare front, I think there's been some productive things happen this legislative session. We certainly should see some improvement in Arkansas's poor maternal health statistics. There was a big contingency from Northwest Arkansas pushing for some
Yes.
changes on the maternal health front. You might even be married to one of those people. And then also medical residency slots, another very important issue. We do seem to have funded more of those. What do you point to on the healthcare front that you viewed as pretty positive for this legislative session?
Yeah, for us in the legislative session, obviously you mentioned maternal health, but we've been focused on the last several years of this graduate medical education, the residencies. You know, we were educating medical students and then exporting them to Boston and Chicago and other places because we did not have enough residency slots. We did a study a couple years ago, 5 years ago now, that showed we were about 200 residency slots below the national average. A lot of reasons for that because of the way residencies are funded. But working with the legislature during Governor Hutchison's term and now with Governor Sanders and working with the legislature, we created a process where Washington Regional will have created 76 new slots. So these will be Arkansas kids that have graduated from medical school or other places that come here that will be able to stay in Northwest Arkansas in the state to do their residency training. In addition to that great piece of it, there's an estimated economic impact of around $750,000 per resident. So it's a good economic impact too. And if they become physicians, I believe the latest I saw was around 17 new jobs per physician. So a really economic can help grow the economy as well.
I don't want to say that you're at the caboose on that train because you got a new medical school about to come online up there. You're going to need some more medical residency slots
We
before.
do, and these residency slots will be up and running well before those graduates. So it's good timing. We still have a ways to go, and I think you're going to see more from Northwest Arkansas and from the state on how we can create more residency slots, just because it just makes so much sense for the state of Arkansas.
Let's talk about housing, a big issue up in Northwest Arkansas, affordable housing, much less just keeping up with housing demand. Price per square foot is extraordinary in that corner of the state right now. I don't know if anything came out of this session that's going to address that necessarily, but it's certainly a front that you've been working on. Kind of where do you see the lay of the landscape right now, and what's in motion?
Yeah, well, here in Northwest Arkansas, we've been doing a lot of work with our mayors of all of our large cities, which are doing some comprehensive reforms on their zoning and development codes, which we think will help. We are in the process now of establishing a regional growth strategy. We're going to be providing hopefully toolkits for some of these smaller city mayors to help them grow in the right way. Around 60% of our growth is happening in the non-corridor cities. So a lot of these smaller towns are taking on growth. But in the state legislature, one thing that we were supportive of was the ability to create ADUs. So small, I guess, granny flats, some people call them, in the backyard of larger lots where you could, by right, by state law, be able to put those in as long as they met all the other uh, the parts of the code for the individual city. Bart Hester, Senator Hester, pushed that, and Nicole Clowney and Fayetteville worked together. The legislation was modeled off of what Fayetteville had done, actually. So now developers will be able to add this. We hope and think it'll create a little bit more density, a little less, a less burden on cost, and a little less burden on infrastructure. But we have a long way to go on housing. We have a lot of infrastructure needs, highways, water, electric, you name it. We have a lot of challenges here in Northwest Arkansas. These are good challenges to have, but they're challenges nonetheless.
Keep our eye on that. Lastly, let's talk about placemaking. This is something that I think does not get enough lip service anywhere in Arkansas, but there's a lot happening around different parts of the state, particularly in Northwest Arkansas. Placemaking is where you create events and activities and build community and do things that draw people together and help kind of build that sense of belonging and that sense of place. Tell me why you think that is so important with the influx of people that are moving into Northwest Arkansas and just the population growth that you have up there.
Yeah, since I've been at the council for 7 years, and quality of life, quality of place has always been a key component of our economic development strategy. How do you recruit? How do you retain the best talent that you possibly can? And people want to have fun. They want to have things to do outside of their work. They want to have things to go and play, and good places and public venues. So we really work hard to develop those, and you'll see in all the bond issues for all of the cities, investments in parks, trails, things like that to help people as they relocate here. We want them to stay here. We want their children to stay here. And we see that as a big part of economic development.
I'm looking forward to the day I get to go experience some fun in the Nelson Peacock Activity Center somewhere in Northwest Arkansas.
That might be a ways off, but you never know, right?
That's right. Well, listen, Nelson Peacock with the Northwest Arkansas Council, thank you for your time. Thanks for sharing your thoughts with us and keep us posted.
Hey, thanks for having me.